to say one word. You go for 2 hours. Government.
Yeah.
That'll be the easiest podcast we ever did.
Except we don't talk about politics.
I know.
Tom was making fun of me because when we had Joe Bob on, he thought I was going to chime in and say things. No, I barely said a word.
Well, thanks for participating.
It was
That's
a nightmare.
nice.
Nice.
But we're going to have to talk a little bit about politics because I am less than I'm less than 15 hours away from the Libertarian Party of Wisconsin's convention that I performed
Party
last
that
night.
nobody likes.
That nobody likes or apparently is a part of. It was a very small gathering. No, I'm just kidding.
I heard it's getting bigger. You guys can almost field the softball team now.
Oh, yeah. So, you guys, I'm not a member.
All right.
Hello, universe. Welcome to Off the Rails with Tom and Mark. The best comedy podcast in America.
Echo.
This is gonna be Off the Rails.
All right. Welcome back, universe, to episode 83.
Got to be a little more high energy than that, Tom, after that opener.
Our first ever 83rd episode.
Yeah. Coming to you from the Coldwell Banker Home Sale Realty Studio here in beautiful Grafton, Wisconsin.
And we have Brendan. I put the Aryan in Libertarian. O'Day.
Wow. Holy cow.
Jeez, Tom.
It's going to be an extraordinarily odd segue to what I'm going to talk about first about this event.
Yeah,
but,
well, he said more energy, and that's all I needed. So, what are we going to talk about today? Today we got the very funny Brendan O'Day. San Francisco is covered in human shit. Burger King unveils the unhappy meals. Plague breaks out on a Scientology cruise arc. No booze bars are the hip and trendy place in New York City. What? Canada passes a bill in favor of cannibalism. And Mark and I have birthdays coming up, so here's a hint. Crocs with fanny packs.
That man does not speak for me.
No?
So you want the Crocs to have fanny packs or Crocs and fanny packs?
Crocs the sandals or Crocs the animals?
We'll get there. What do we got going on here? Should we pay some bills?
Time to pay some bills.
Okay, hang on.
Hi, I'm Jenny Shulka, Director of Human Resources at a family-owned and international company, Coldwell Banker Home Sale Realty. With 3 offices in southeastern Wisconsin and some of the top agents in the industry, we are here to serve you in all of your real estate needs, whether you are buying or selling. If you are interested in a career in real estate, we offer an in-depth training program to make you successful. Call us at 414-443-2030 or email roy@cbhsr.com.
Thanks, Jenny. That was supposed to be Roy when we filmed that.
Well,
But
what the fuck?
He pulled in Jenny. He does that to people.
He's like, Jenny, why don't you do it?
So that's why Roy's the boss.
Yeah. He just...
Bosses don't actually do things. They make other people do things.
Roy's got a great way of doing that. Like when we showed up to his free luncheon that we thought we were getting free lunch for. And he's like, okay, you guys are going to speak right after me. Like, oh, we're doing a show? Oh, right.
And what are we speaking on? Thanks for the
Let me
heads up.
just pinch my baby. Oh, I gotta go. She's crying.
So,
I didn't actually pinch her, but she did cry.
Yeah, Mark got out of there, so I was left high and dry.
Nice.
I was just coming for the free luncheon show that he had going. I didn't know I was part of it. So Roy
Just wanted
is
a free Subway sandwich.
And what did you speak on?
about the podcast, how he's picking us up on a sponsorship, and I didn't know what he wanted me to say. He just
How we reach a young demographic that's ready to buy houses.
Yep.
Go on and on about that.
it's a great way to
That and other bullshit that may or may not have actually applied. That's nice. Oh, good.
We're sort of young, hip millennials. We're grandpa millennials.
Yeah, that's definitely
make fun of millennials more than anything else on this show.
It's nothing I think of first other than young and hip. I'm like coming to the show.
I love those two whippersnappers.
All right, so like and share, big time iTunes reviews, Patreon helps. I'm getting horny for a new camera, so we have Skype limitations, and people want to come in on Skype. So I hate doing the monitor thing and kind of ripping them off.
It was cute the first time, but we got to step it up.
Yeah. So tonight, May the 4th be with you. No Star Wars jokes after that. That's it.
Oh.
Today is the premiere for For Sale, a Ron Pertwee film with Jonathan Wachala, who was on last week. It's going to be at McAuliffe's in Racine at 9 p.m. If you want to go meet Chris and Steve, Jonathan, Ron, other people that were in the movie.
Chris and Steve of the Twisted Dreams Film Festival.
Yes. They will be there.
We'll be
Molly
there.
and I will be there. You get to see us in the movie. We didn't act or have any lines per se.
You were in the movie. You acted.
Well, if a picture's worth 1,000 words and a movie's just 1,000,000 pictures.
Picture needs a setting. You were the setting.
Yes.
They were extras in a bar.
It's 1,000,000,000 words. We said 1,000,000,000 words.
That's
so
nice.
I play a sexy, handsome playboy at the bar. Molly plays
The woman next to a sexy, handsome playboy at the bar.
slump buster, better than nothing on a cold, rainy night. That I'm settling on Barfly.
Wow.
You don't get to.
Well, real actors need motivation.
And that was my motivation.
You'll only see like the back of my head, if anything.
Well, we figured since Molly loves doggy style so much, that's her
Oh my
most
God.
recognizable camera shot. It's the back of her head.
Wow.
Never not awkward coming here. This is never not awkward.
Yeah, what did happen to the other cameras we used to have? Where are those, Tom?
I don't know.
I have them hidden from him.
It's a good move. It's a good move.
So you're doing the Libertarian Party, or did you do it last night?
I did that last night.
It's a stand-up gig.
It was a stand-up performance. It was lovely. They could not have been a more gracious group. They had some first timers at their convention.
Okay.
One of whom apparently has this desire to be the center of attention the whole time.
Oh.
And after the very nice comments people were making about what I did as a performance, they were mystified by how I managed to handle that guy. And they're just like, anybody else would have just walked off the stage. That guy was a complete asshole. And I'm just like, oh, you know, where I play, he's like, no, he's just an audience member who just couldn't shut the hell up. And
was he razzing you, or was he trying to help? Or
he's trying to help. And then when I targeted him a little bit, because I'll put up with quite a bit. I mean, there's a number. There's enough. Yeah, there's some differences. You can let them. There's ways to handle them. You can let them get it out of their system. Give them a minute. You can then call them out on that and say, I'm going to give you a minute to say everything you need to say. Because apparently, you're in this place. It's our favorite thing. You're out in a bar somewhere. It's like, look, these people get to listen to your dumbass 364 days a year. I'm here once, and they paid to see me. Nobody fucking comes here to pay to see you. So just, why don't you take that as a hint and shut the fuck up? So I tried to give him some rope to hang himself, and he just wouldn't stop. But to his credit, he brought a sex worker who unabashedly called herself, she identified herself as such, and she was there as a party member who's running for a chairmanship.
Oh, she wasn't there on work. She was there
She was there working in the capacity that she was his official date for the entire convention for which she's being paid every day.
She was a contracted escort.
Yes, and she is she's a lovely person.
I suppose that is a very libertarian attitude.
I tell you,
legalize everything.
Every attitude that they espouse was firmly on display.
Even in the back row?
Well, normally it's a corporate event. And so there's a certain set of decorum that a comedian adheres to for corporates, because you never know who's in the audience. You never know who you're really pleasing. You never know who's going to walk up and say, hey, we're not going to pay you. You violated this rule, and this rule we had. So, but I was invited to the dinner beforehand. And these people are like, hey, fuck you, Al, like across the room in this beautiful resort. And they're just free speeches on full display in the Libertarian Convention. And just, I took that as my cue to not have to really hold back anything, which I wasn't necessarily intending. When I do a corporate event like that, I'll do 50% of material that's written just for them. So having 3 months is always a real nice thing, because it takes a while to write decent material. So basically, I went through the Libertarian platform and just plucked various planks of their platform and wrote jokes to those various elements. And I could have just done my regular set, and I think they would have liked it just the same. But anyhow, it was somewhat salacious and somewhat not, and somewhat
So
to
that's
their
what,
thing.
pot, hookers, and shotguns?
Pretty much, yeah. A little bit of abortion in there, when I'm totally for the 72nd trimester abortions. I really like to see a few more of those. Yeah, there's a lot of 18-year-olds, I think, that could
Brought down a notch.
not be a part of this world anymore. Yeah. So, so it was a fun time, but yeah, it was interesting.
All right, I got a story here for you.
Okay.
How would the libertarians handle this problem?
Oh, boy.
San Francisco is spending, just last year alone in 2018, $72 million to try to clean up all of the human shit in the streets.
You can clean that up with excrement. You can say that instead of shit on the radio. I'm sorry. It's not the radio. We're on the internet.
We're on the Facebook.
I get it. Yeah, we're on a Facebook.
You swore like 19 times in your rants, and you called.
I know. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, shit, gotta dial it back.
I thought you were going to I thought you were going to double term on the word cleanup and clean up your verbiage. Yeah.
No, we didn't do that.
No. $72 million?
Yeah, and it's supposed to go skyrocket this year.
Well, you
'Cause
got to have a
here's
lot
the
of
trend.
tourism in, like, San Francisco and whatnot. So, you want it to be nice for the tourists.
Is there a lot of public dumping tourism?
Well, notice, these are the only documented reports. This is not the shit that people step over and didn't call the police on. In 2011, there were 5,547 cases of human feces in the streets of San Francisco.
How do you get that job?
In 2018, there were
I'm on
28,084.
He has a clicker in his hand, just walks around.
Yeah.
So it's likely that there's even more cases. If it's 28,084,
It's not dog shit, it's human shit.
no,
it's human shit.
This is human shit.
There's no way it's only 28,000 piles. Come on. That's just... I mean,
Well, do you bring-
granted, one call could be like, hey, I just walked underneath this overpass and there was like 100
A huge pile,
mounds of
a communal pile.
Yeah, are they that organized? Or is
They
it
have-
just kind of...
They have a paid poop patrol.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Team.
saying. That's got to be great.
If
What
we
a
were
job.
living in some sort of, if it's the post-zombie apocalypse and we're living in a fort, we have designated a poop area.
Of course.
Right? That's human nature.
That's not human nature. That's solid urban planning is what that is. That's containment
Cleanliness.
of disease carrying. I mean, think of the fly population and everything. You want that, and you've planned that. Now you're a completely crazy schizophrenic person just trying to survive the end of today. And do you just go, oh, that's right, I've got to go to the communal poop corner over there by the, No, it's just like, oh, God. And just
this is
let-
happening.
yeah, right. And just let her go, baby.
Okay, well, I had 2 potty trained birds. So how can we not potty train people if I can train 2 parrots this big to poop in one spot of their cage?
Because they have motivation to do that. You give them food and you take care of them.
No, my bird
Go
will-
take care of all those homeless people, and they'll pretty much do whatever you say. If you
don't
make sure
give a
they have
shit.
food every day. And
My second
Nice.
bird, I didn't even potty train. She potty trained
Toys.
herself. She only goes in one spot in her cage.
your birds have toys, and
Yeah.
and they get their little trays refilled.
They jerk
I'm
off
sure
into their mirror.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, while staring themselves down. Yeah.
That's Gronk.
Well, so do that for the homeless people, and they'll poop where you want them
Give them a
to.
mirror to masturbate.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's but so yeah, your point's well taken, but yeah, it's just I don't know. It's
Have you ever traveled in Europe where you have to pay to use every public bathroom?
yeah, it's pretty great.
I hate that.
Oh, I love that.
What if I really have to go and I don't have a penny?
Someone will cover you. I've never ran into a problem where somebody wouldn't give you money to use the bathroom.
See, I would think they would have more problems there with that system of pay for play versus in
Well, you get
in
into
Frisco,
you
where
get
it's a
an
free-for-all.
Yeah, but you get into an interesting argument there where they lovingly embrace and endorse their socialism. Here we demand it with zero responsibility for it. So it's a weird dichotomy where the way the Europeans
it's more capitalist.
it's certainly more reasonable. There's more acceptance of their responsibility within their system. Here we want no responsibility and all the benefits of full-on
We
socialism
want
with
the
zero
nice
responsibility.
bathroom. We don't want to pay for it.
We don't want to pay for it. Exactly right. No, we want to say that I want you to pay more in taxes so I can go to the bathroom, rather than let's all just pay our fair big chunk of taxes. If we're going to have socialism, you got to get into Sweden. You got to get into 70% of everything you make being just taken from you, and then redistributed in the form of nice little bathrooms that you occasionally have to stick a $1 into or a euro into to take a crap. So it also gets
Molly's giving me the squinty eye. We're on politics hard here.
Holy cow! Oh, jeez, it's just I just
There's
love.
a taboo jar right behind you, man.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's on the top shelf.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
We haven't touched that thing in weeks.
Well, it would be rather disingenuous of me to talk about paying to poop if I'm not going to pay for the.
Leave it a hot
bar.
steaming pile here on the
There
show.
we go. Hold on.
Oh, he's gonna do it.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
I owe that
There
jar
we
like
go.
$30.
Is that this?
Yeah.
I don't know if I cut a hole in it, but you could just
We're not made of money.
Why did you cut a hole in it?
because it's a metal top.
I'm about.
Well, thank you very much.
I'll get my oscillating saw in here. We'll cut right through that.
There you go, there. Hey.
Did you notice where that's pictures from? That's Newman from Jurassic Park. When you
yeah.
Nedry.
Nedry.
Newman was his character on Seinfeld.
Yeah, he'll always be Newman
Yeah,
to me.
he's Newman.
Wayne Knight.
There we go.
I liked him in 30 Rock.
I didn't see him in 30 Rock. I didn't watch 30 Rock.
What? It was a good show.
It's a good show. I
great show.
just don't watch TV, so like it was one of those weird things to have to admit. I never saw an original episode of Seinfeld. I only saw it in reruns.
Okay.
With the exception of the very last episode, that was that
Everyone watched
that
one.
must-watch television, 70 million plus viewers, and
You got to watch this dumpster fire that's happening here for the last.
As far
episode.
as far as show endings go, it wasn't bad.
It was bad.
no, it wasn't. People lambasted. I think it was just built up too much. I think
When you
I think-
compare it to like the last episode of Lost or the last episode of
I
Sopranos
so
or Game of
stopped
Thrones is
watching
coming
Lost,
up,
man.
everyone's already complaining about the third to last,
Can we
fourth
just
to last
compare it to
episode.
another, work-a-day sitcom? I mean,
Seinfeld's up there.
yeah, I think it's up there. I don't think you have to compare it to something like
But the last
like-
episode of Cheers.
Yeah, there you go. I would, and I think that was so sappy, and
Yes.
I like the fact that Seinfeld stayed true to its ethos in the final episode.
Yeah, it was more callbacks. It was let's bring on all those
Yeah.
beloved
Yeah.
characters from how many seasons
It was
was
like
that?
Endgame.
9 seasons.
9 seasons.
Yeah. All right, Burger King debuts its unhappy meals because no one is happy all the time.
So okay.
All right, you got the Yas meal for everybody who is totally excited. The DJ.
How are these
Wait,
different?
but these are for kids, right?
No, they're not for
no,
kids.
these are for millennials.
Yeah,
Well, but Happy Meals are for kids. So these are adult Happy Meals.
This is the DGAF
Molly,
don't give a fuck
You're
meal.
a kid until
I
you're 27.
actually have a
What do you get something in them?
Yeah, food.
chlamydia.
No, but
Something to really worry about.
Happy Meals have toys in them.
It gives
Do
you
the different
perspective.
boxes have like
And chlamydia.
None of them have toys.
I actually have a patch that says Dilligaff, and it's one of my favorite things to have people come up and ask me and say, "What does that mean?"
Okay.
And I just get to say, "Does it look like I give a fuck?" and then they go, "No, but what does it mean? Does it look like I give a fuck?" And,
Yeah.
and then they just
That's
kind of walk
awesome.
away sadly.
Well, they also have the
That guy's
pissed
rude.
meal.
Pissed. Nice.
So these are just fancy boxes
Yeah, that pretty much have a Whopper and fries in.
and no
so
toy.
pissed today. I want to go get a pissed meal box.
No
They have
toy.
a salty meal, a blue meal, a yes meal, a pissed meal, and a don't give a fuck meal.
That's so dumb. That's like a waste of money for those boxes. Why?
Well, but I don't know how much time you get to spend with these people. I mean, living in River West, there's a Burger King in our neighborhood. This is going to just explode because
This is-
somebody's speaking to them. You understand me?
I'm gonna go get a Yas meal.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's going to be the worst seller. It's going to be that I'm so pissed. I'm pissed. I want something to eat.
No, what I would do is I would get like a pissed meal for someone. You pissed
There you go.
You mad, bro?
Hey, this reminded me of
Have a
you.
Whopper and fries. Well, right now it's only in Seattle, Miami, Los Angeles, and New York City,
Of course,
and
it's in
Austin.
Seattle first. Of course, it's in Seattle. How come not Portland? You left out Portland. Burger King, you missed the boat.
Sorry, Burger King.
Oh, that's crazy.
So I don't know why why they're doing this.
It's just a fun box. It's a joke.
It's a joke.
I get
Unhappy
funny
meal.
jokes.
It's dumb.
You guys wouldn't get a piss meal?
I'm a little more of an introvert. I wouldn't want to broadcast to the world my feelings through a box. But that's just me. I'm the weird one here.
I would only ever get it for someone as like a joke.
I think that's the best way to buy them. Yeah, that's it because it's.
Can you like pull up to the drive-thru and say, "Surprise me"?
Tell me how I'm feeling.
Tell me how I'm feeling. No, it'll be like a thumbprint reader. You just press your thumb and it'll say, "Oh, you're a Dilligaff
Like
today."
a mood ring.
Yeah, exactly right.
Or a urinalysis. We had a story last week about a
Present a
restaurant.
cup.
A restaurant that has you send in like samples so that it can
Urine and feces and
tell you
What you need in
cater
your
a
diet.
meal to you for what you need in
what
your
type of
diet.
sushi you need.
So macrobiotically determines what you fucking need.
Yeah.
You're a little low on iron, so we've got more iron in this meal. Or red meat.
That should have been in Star Trek.
You should really get all your medical advice from a restaurant.
From a sushi place.
Yeah, right. Oh, nice. Even
It's
better.
weird that everybody orders the most expensive roll here. Do all this thing, and
your problem is.
you need the Godzilla roll.
Godzilla roll is my
$45.
favorite.
Yeah. All right. What do you think of this newest trend? Entrepreneurs in New York City are selling or opening up no booze bars. You can't get a booze there.
You know, I love a kitty cocktail as much as the next guy, but
I'm not paying $14 in a bar for it at New York.
Yeah.
So is this just people? Is this the straight edge crowd who wants to have the evening nightlife, but they don't want to have the?
They're trying to show people that you don't need
Stigmatism of AA.
Yeah.
Oh, we got our buddy Mitchell Bellicone.
Hey,
He says public toilets for $1. For that money, better have a jet spray stream cleaner.
Mitchell,
It's Europe,
he's-
man. They
he's
live on bidets.
He's a big bidet guy.
Absolutely.
Mitchell. Yep.
Absolutely.
That's what you're paying for.
Yeah. It's warm water, all right? It's like serious bidets. They take their bidets very seriously.
he does too.
Yeah.
He's the face of bidet.
Nice.
The Michael Jordan of bidet.
So can we like talk Toto toilets with this guy?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, what do you think about? Do you think this is just a little hip trend, or is society moving towards, since people like it, they're going to want to ban it for everybody?
I don't know.
Prohibition.
Do
again?
you drink? You a drinker?
I'm a drinker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you go to the bar to drink, or do you go to the bar to just talk to people?
He goes to the bar to work.
Well, you work there, obviously.
I drink mostly when I'm working. It really is. I drink way more when I'm working. Just like sitting around watching a movie or whatever at home, I don't drink a lot. Mostly because something could happen. Mm-hmm. And I have to go somewhere. When I'm working,
SWAT guys could break in the windows at any
Well,
moment.
I'm whatever.
When he's working
I
as a
lead a-
driver's ed instructor,
I
is when he
lead a
drinks the most.
complicated life, but when I'm scheduled for a show, like last night from 5:30 on, I wasn't leaving that resort until 9:30 this morning, so I can just go to town. I can literally in that scenario, if someone calls and says, "Hey, I really need your help on that," I can just say, "No, sorry, I can't leave," but B, you don't want my opinions right now. I'll be way too critical of what you're talking about doing. But so I do like that I'm afforded that opportunity while I'm working. But and when the tour used to run, 30, 40 nights in a row in a different town every night. Oh my God. I mean, the amount of Jamesons that we would consume on a daily basis would have any doctor just go, "You're going to die." It's just, you're consuming lethal levels of alcohol on a daily basis. Where does 750 milliliters of alcohol go
okay,
in
sir.
a night?
I'm a stand-up comedian.
So we were in South Dakota one time, and the bartender was just like, no, it's getting on to like 2:30 in the morning, and he's like, you can kill this whole bottle if you just do one more. It's like, so I've already drank an entire bottle of Tanqueray that night that they had brought in just for me because they asked, "Oh, what do you guys drink?" And whatever, I was Tanqueray and Jameson, and we don't have any Tanqueray.
That's a hard cocktail.
Well, yeah, I like yellow. I don't like brown. I don't like white. So that's an Asian porn reference. So then at the end, then the guy gives me a bottle of Tito's, a bottle of Jameson, and a bottle of Tanqueray to take with back to the hotel room and
For the road.
And it's just that thing of in South Dakota, all the liquor is sold through the state, and you have to account for every single. They can't give away
At
shots.
the bar. Yeah.
And this guy literally just, I didn't know that at the time. I found that out later. I'm sure he got fired for this because this is like $400 worth of revenue that he just like, "Here, take it. I've never had anybody kill a whole bottle in one night." Jamie, you're the best ever. That's all I'm going to say is that you probably got fired for stocking me up for the next 3 days. And
The only thing I like about these non-drinking bars is you can go to a bar and not drink, but then you're surrounded by drunk people when you're sober. And that's kind of annoying.
yeah, but isn't that a known thing? This is the equivalent of going to a roller rink.
Yeah.
You can be surrounded by a bunch of
I
non-drinkers.
drink to be social. I don't drink by myself, but if I'm at a party or people are over, I'll have a few drinks. If I'm at the bar and I'm not drinking, I'm going to be that antisocial guy who's not talking to anybody. I have to drink to relax and to let loose a little bit.
Okay.
So to me, it would be just as awkward as not drinking.
It's a bunch of awkward people staring into their Diet Coke.
bunch of depressed people, who are mad at the world.
Do they sell food, or is it just
Ooh, do they have grumpy meals?
like? Because I don't want to pissed meals.
Awkward meals. Yeah.
I don't want to sit at a
Fish sticks and
Yeah,
macaroni.
this is social lubricant right here. That's what this is for me.
Well, and so that's definitely a thing to consider. But I don't know. You asked if it was a trend. I don't know if it's a trend.
It's a starting trend. They're popping up in New York now.
Yeah, I don't know
make
if it's
money
gonna
in New York.
Yeah, for sure. It's got to be expensive, or cover the lease and whatnot. But the I don't know if there's certainly ask Anheuser-Busch. Their sales are down another 13%. So, and I think with more legalization of marijuana, you're also seeing that having a very deleterious effect. And a couple of states have said that you can't have a place that sells marijuana and alcohol.
Yep.
So, so it is causing, and I think you're going to see that change in the next round of revisiting that issue. Is that they're going to be like, the bars are going to be like, hey, we're going out of business because of this stuff. You got to let us be both. And I think that's coming, but I don't know that this. Yeah, probably.
So there's the joke of you give someone oregano when they think it's pot and they act like they're high. You think kids are acting like they're drunk at the kiddie cocktail bar?
Well, they call them mocktails.
The mocktails.
Oh my gosh,
So are
look at
people
that.
whooping it up, thinking, delivering on their expectations of what this is supposed to be like? Or
No,
are they
they're just having
sitting
a
there
social
sipping their juice?
gathering, and it says like 13.
It's a juice. It's a coffee shop.
And is
coffee
it
shop.
is it adults only? Is it 21 only?
Oh, that I don't have that information. It's a bar,
Is it
so I'm guessing
is it
21.
14?
Well, if there's no alcohol,
if there's no alcohol,
that's the reason kids aren't in bars. That and people who are drunk don't want kids in their
Well, you
bars.
can still put an age limit on your, like, hey, we
Yeah.
don't want a bunch of kids here. You got to be
can.
21.
That's
but
what I mean.
there's-
And
yeah.
is it 21 or is it 18 or is
This
it
isn't a family
no
establishment.
age?
It's going to become the kid hangout.
Well, but
place.
that's everywhere I go. That's what every bar wants to be. Family friendly. It'll say right in their
Yeah,
description. And
got
I'm like,
cartoons on the TV.
I'm not family friendly. Why did you book me in your family friendly place? I'm going to actually talk about how much I hate your kids. That's part of what I talk about. So not family friendly at all. So this place doesn't want to be adult friendly. And, so if not adult friendly, then you got to be family friendly or child friendly or whatever. And
Well,
I don't
it is a speakeasy themed sober bar.
Why? What's the point? It's just a juice bar. Go to Orange Julius.
yeah, right?
I love Orange Julius.
It's an expensive.
Do you get the egg in your Orange Julius?
No, I never have.
Oh, yeah. They crack a raw egg into your Orange Julius.
No way.
Absolutely. It's the greatest.
Yeah, Susan just made a Game of Thrones drink that had raw egg in it
Yeah.
for the premiere.
Nice.
By the way, Universe, we're not going to talk about Game of Thrones because Tom and Molly don't watch it.
You can talk about it.
Go ahead, Mark. Here's your
You've
time.
been itching to all day.
Do you
Let's
watch,
hear the Game of Thrones.
Brendan?
What?
Do you watch Game of Thrones?
You're in the minority. Everybody we have in here doesn't watch Game of Thrones.
Just curious if I had someone to actually talk with it about it, we'll move on.
No.
Okay. Well, the universe is all a Twitter because it's all a buzz. Because the last
Twitter.
episode was this big battle that they've been building up to, and it was very dark and very hard to see things. And they basically, spoiler alert,
To nobody.
to nobody.
Don't worry.
Give them time. Give them time. Okay, they've tuned out.
Nice.
They kill the Night King, who's like the series long villain, and there's 3 episodes to go. So everyone's kind of like, well, why would you Why would you blow your wad so early?
To
Why would
set
you
up the
kill
movie.
Voldemort in the 6th movie when we got a 7th one?
To set up the movie.
It's going to be prequels after this.
No, they'll do one because whoever rises up to take over your whatever.
They're
Sith
already
Lord.
working on prequels. I don't know about sequel stuff. They may do that in a couple of years, but they're doing prequels.
Yeah,
right now.
but this is the setup for it. That's why you kill the guy off with 3 episodes to go, and then you have somebody that replaces him, and then they become.
Oh no, he's
when
the,
they bring
he's
them
the
back.
magical evil villain Sauron type character.
He's coming back.
He probably is. That's my theory. Is they're going to bring him back, kill him again.
I hate this stuff. God,
All right, we can move on.
Dragons flying around.
No, I want you to shake it out. Make sure you got it all out of your system in one go. Blow the wad.
Nice. I like it. Go on.
Well, let's talk about Crocs with fanny packs. What do you guys think of this? Here they are. Each Croc has a fanny pack strapped to it.
Oh, like on the top?
Why? Yeah, where the tongue would be on your shoe, there's a fanny pack.
I used to have a little thing that went into the laces of my shoes, like a key wallet. You could just slip your key in there if you're out running or whatever.
Don't worry about
And
that
I-
anymore. We got you covered.
Well, I can't really go
Can't go
running
running
in a
in
pair
Crocs.
of Crocs.
When's the last time you went running?
This morning.
This morning?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
was
you
born out of
didn't
town.
even know. You look great. But I'm...
Wait, you were drinking at the Libertarian
Yeah.
party,
Yeah.
and you still got up and ran?
They
got up
chased
and
you out
ran
of there
this
with
morning.
torches.
Wow.
No, they love me. But yeah, I was on the treadmill this morning.
Wow.
You don't run outside? Because I used to run, and I did like 3 miles on the treadmill, and I thought I would just do a mile outside, and I was dying.
Yeah, no, so I'm still working up to a new level of running and walking. I have really bad knees, a lot of years of
I see
abuse.
you brought your own headphones today. Do you listen to something when you're on the treadmill?
I do. On this set of headphones, for keen viewers, I have 2 sets of headphones. I have my little set that I wear.
Didn't know he was doing that well.
So yeah, right, yeah. I have both. No, I like just what you said, Tom. It seriously, 3 miles indoors is like nothing, and you get out between elevation and wind. It's fabulous. So it was pretty chilly up in the Door County Peninsula there, hey, this morning.
Oh yeah.
And I just don't like looking at all them fishermen in the bay, at 5:30 in the morning, just going out there, being productive and all that shit. So I had this. The room they put me in was a 2-story suite kind of a thing with the loft upstairs. So the loft has this big opening that you're facing into, and then straight across from me, these giant windows, peaked windows. There's no covering whatsoever. So around 5:30 this morning, as you get that weird layer of clouds above a lake. Mm-hmm. But there's a gap in that atmospheric gap where the sun was, and it's that moment where you're just woken up by just a searing beam of sunlight in the corner of your eye. You're like, someone is holding a laser to my face, and it's only in one eye because it was so perfectly concentrated. And so once I was up at 5:30, I've only been asleep for 3 hours at that point, and I'm just, oh God, now I'm up. And now what do you do? And because of the years of extreme alcohol training that I've been through, going to bed at 1:30 in the morning after several teen cocktails of cocktail consumption, no problem. Doesn't matter. 3 hours, I'm fine. And so I was awake. So I went down to the little fitness center and walked for an hour and jogged for a few minutes until my knees said, "You're an idiot," and went back to walking for another 15 minutes and said that was enough. But yeah, it was. I couldn't envision doing that in Crocs. The only time I've ever worn Crocs was when I was in jail. So
Okay.
so I just know that.
Was it fashion jail?
Well, it was. Yeah, it's that thing of I didn't ever have an impetus to want to go buy Crocs.
Okay.
But then I got an opportunity to wear Crocs.
The good Lord presented Crocs to me.
Listen, you can buy them or you can wear them this way. It's your choice.
Yeah. What are you willing to go through? And so I wore Crocs for 6 days, and I went, I don't ever need to wear Crocs again. This was not an experience I want to repeat. And then there's that added bonus of if I see a pair of Crocs, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that time I had to wear Crocs. And I get to relive the whole thing all over again.
These Crocs will set you back $53.
I don't understand that.
Why? Weren't Crocs originally just like cheap shoes for people on boats because they're waterproof and
No
all of
gardening.
that? Gardening?
Yeah, it was like one of those Ronco TV things where it was someone just stomping around the garden because you get muddy and you can
hose
just hose it right off. Yep, that's how it all started.
I have never worn a pair of Crocs in my life.
God love you. There you go.
All right. Well, Canada.
So hold on.
You were talking about
we can't leave the Crocs thing yet, real quick, because you're a fanny pack guy.
Yeah.
So where are you at the combination of fanny packs being integrated into an absolutely useless and shitty shoe?
I wouldn't like the jingling of change on my toes.
At your feet, yeah.
Well, you don't have to put change in there.
Well, if I have to empty out my fanny pack, I'm going to have keys.
Put all your
allergy
cotton
medications,
balls, your styrofoam insulation, and everything else that would never move around in a.
No, I'm not going to do the croc fanny pack combo.
All right, cool.
Just the fanny pack.
It was you were the only person with skin in the game on this thing, so I thought it was important to get your take.
So you were talking about autocorrect, which fits great into this autocorrect bill that got passed Canadian legislature. They were trying to pass a cannabis bill, and it's spelled cannibalism.
Is cannibalism inherently illegal?
Well, not in Bill C-45. It
all parties
legalizes.
Oh, hey, we made a little mistake here. Shitty. God dinger.
So
Look what we did here. God dang.
They said the people who read the bill, this was their excuse. They're like, "Didn't you guys read this?" And they're all like, "I thought somebody else was going to speak up. I didn't want to be the guy to say it." So they just greenlit it.
They're all too damn nice to raise the issue of what's obviously
Formerly
a gigantic
known
problem.
As the Cannabis Act is now the Cannibal Act. It still talks about marijuana and everything, but it's just named.
Just called the Cannibal Act. That's great.
Well, if someone wants their body to be eaten, I don't see
here
what
we
the
go.
problem is. If I put in my will that with my last will and testament
Mark,
is to have Tom cook and eat me, and he's cool with it, and I'm cool with it, what's the problem?
To cook and eat you.
It's gross.
You want that.
If that were my last
if
will and
that
testament,
were so it's total hypothetical.
if all parties consented,
never once
what's the
contemplated
problem?
anyone eating his body.
No one is being hurt.
I think if I used your hand and put some chicken wing sauce on it, really got the bony parts, and
I got some good meaty thighs.
no, I don't want a roast. I'll save that for later. I want buffalo sauce on a hand.
Blue cheese dressing.
No, I'm going ranch. Unless that's in your will.
Blue cheese is gross.
Blue cheese in the will.
Blue cheese. Crap, this hand sucks.
It's what Mark would have wanted. For God's sakes, man, get me some celery.
Wow. All right.
Wow is right.
Yeah.
I love you, man. I told you I'd do it.
So do you die by smoking enough pot to kill you, which allegedly can't be done, but you could test that.
Well, you could
theory
be
and try to
crazy high
prove that.
and die of other causes. Would
Sure.
I argue that there's not enough oxygen
But if there's-
in that smoke to sustain you.
Probably. But so then if you had, so let's say as you're dying,
Death by hotboxing.
Yeah.
as you're dying, you consume like 50,000 milligrams of marijuana in edible form. And you're slowly dying over the next 6 to 8 hours or whatever. Then your body is infused with all that. Then you literally become an
eats you.
edible. You become them. Yeah.
A cannabis haggis.
Yeah. There you go.
We have a Jason Evans saying he'll only eat vegans and Mexicans. I like the taste of tacos.
Hey, stop stepping on my jokes, Evans.
Someone else had also said that they could only see your head because you're in all black, sitting in a black chair.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. It's the floating, the apparitional head. I love it. Yeah.
All right. Do you want to hit the Scientology cruise quarantine?
Oh, nice.
Sure.
Yeah.
What were they doing?
Measles,
Were they
baby.
Sea Organ out there, as they call it?
Yeah.
Nearly 300 people are quarantined to the cruise ship
Yeah.
because they didn't get their
because
vaccines.
somebody on the cruise ship had measles.
Has measles, yeah.
So
I
a
heard about
female
this, but I didn't
crew
hear it was
member-
Scientology.
Yep. It was a Scientology cruise ship. But Sergeant Victor Theodore from the Coast Guard said you guys got to stay. So we sort
Safety
this
first.
out.
If it was any other cruise ship, it'd be the exact same way.
Well, what if it wasn't just measles? What if it was something really bad? Would they just say, okay, you guys got to go straight out there and then send a torpedo to save the planet?
Well, is
I think there would be loud cheering for
100%
that.
lethal?
No, they're not. It's not 100%
Yeah,
lethal, but
so-
it does become lethal.
Just let it run its course. We may lose a couple of people. Send some doctors over in full body
Hazmat
gear.
stuff.
Hazmat stuff. See to the people, see to their needs, but don't let it spread.
Just the fact that we have measles making a comeback now after it's been gone for how long?
Listen, I'm the biggest conspiracy theory guy. So if people think that the vaccines for this are going to cause whatever to happen, where it just, the Bilderberg Society kills the population by 95%.
Yeah.
The thing is, what are you going to do anyways if they want to do that? Just how about that can't be stopped or prevented? So why don't you just not have measles? Live until they decide to kill us all.
You mean take the vaccine and make them kill you more aggressively?
No, well, if you don't take the vaccine,
I'm confused.
if they can kill you through vaccines and you don't take the vaccine, you don't think they can just kill you a different way?
It might
If
not
they want
kill
you dead?
you. The issue is like my daughter's
It
not 2
sterilizes.
yet. She's not fully vaccinated because she has to take them in certain orders. So if measles or whatever is out there more prevalent because adults aren't getting vaccinated, now little kids could get it and they could die.
No,
much more
I'm
easily,
going the here. We'll do this. I'm going the conspiracy on vaccines. The whole thing.
Yeah, that's how you would lower the population. You'd be killing off all the babies because the herd would have enough of it to
They
spread
think
to the
that they
kids.
can release something that only vaccinated people will get this giant plague, and all the unvaccinated
I
people
don't
will
see
be safe.
why not. Sure.
The vaccine causes mental health issues and depression and
But
all this.
why
and
would
it's
you
big
wanna
pharma.
kill-
There's a bunch of reasons not to.
But if
There's
the people who are taking the vaccine are complacent and follow orders, wouldn't you want them to be the ones who live?
Brendan's just laughing and shaking his head.
This would be so much better if you guys were completely high right now. This is so much pot talk. It's just
You
not
want to
even-
kill the free
Everything is
thinkers
better
who
if
aren't
you're
getting
high.
vaccinated,
Yeah.
okay.
right? If you're the Illuminati and you're looking to control the world, you don't want to kill the people who've got you figured out, or you want to kill the people who've got you figured out. You want to keep the people who are sheeple.
But you want to save society by killing 95% of the population. That's the
Yeah.
whole Bilderberg group.
But let's
I
start
shouldn't
with the
be
ones
saying
who
that.
are
They're
onto
gonna come
us,
kill me.
and let's keep the ones who we're duping.
Any way you want to look at it, measles is coming back, guys. It was a dead disease that's now coming back.
Yeah,
Sure. Because people are stupid.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just get your vaccine. If they're going to drop the population by 90%.
Look, if Jenny McCarthy hadn't have done 3 Playboy spreads, we wouldn't even talk about anti-vax right now. So
yeah.
it's only because they picked the right spokesman.
Well, Andrew Wakefield was the guy who came up with it, and it got published in a peer-reviewed journal, and everybody jumped on board real quick.
yeah. Was he ever in Cosmo? No. It's
Well-
Jenny McCarthy. Let's
Then
Playgirl act no.
somebody tried to look at his work and said, this ain't right. This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then everybody banned it. So it was only in the journal for a short period of time.
Yeah.
His career got ruined. He basically came out and said, yeah, I lied about the vaccination thing.
Yeah.
Did he lie or was he just mistaken?
No, he lied.
No, he
wanted to
fudged
get-
data, yeah.
Yeah, so he's like, okay, you caught me. I lied. Okay. And now all these people are like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
You were right.
They made you say you lied.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the doctor that came up with ADHD. He flat out says I completely did it for grant money, and it's not a real disease. It's a real fucking disease. I mean, and I'm not saying it is. I'm saying the public believes the pharmaceutical industry has a very vested interest in ADHD being a real disease, and it's just the
we're
guy
all on
admits
the
the
spectrum.
guy admits that he fudged the whole thing.
So does this guy.
Yeah.
And once it's out there,
Once it's out there,
that's
you'll
what
find
Joe Bob was
followers.
saying. Once it's out there, and it can't be brought back.
Yep.
No matter how many times the guy said, I fucking lied. Mm-hmm. No,
Yep.
you didn't.
No, you
Yep.
didn't, man. You're speaking the truth.
Yeah,
You may have lied, but you were still correct.
yeah.
And Jenny McCarthy's going to tell you.
Damn straight. One strip of clothing at a time.
So, yeah, I guess they got the shit under control on the cruise ship, and now they're...
Although with all that money behind Scientology, you wouldn't think they could just like buy their way into a port and quarantine the port.
Why?
There's
They're
a lot
on
of money in Scientology.
They're on a cruise ship. Like,
Yeah.
come on. They're
I suppose if you're going to get quarantined somewhere, a cruise
Right.
ship's the place to be. You got bars, you got a pool, probably a golf course.
yeah, they're
You're
not
gonna run out
suffering.
of food though, at
supplies,
some
yeah.
They can
point.
ship. They can send more boats.
Yeah.
They can drone drop food onto
Sure. Call Amazon now. That's
They
going to be
can, they
good.
can Google order a drone drop.
Yeah.
Send more booze and crackers.
Yeah.
What else do you need to survive?
Crackers.
Do Scientologists not drink though?
I don't. Ooh, that's a good question. I don't. I would assume they do.
Do you want me to Google that here?
Sure.
Because now I'm curious.
They're behind the alcohol-free lounges.
We've come full circle. You get a full Thetan reading every time you hold one of their glasses in the stupid juice bar. Juice bars.
I suppose they might be, like my body's a temple types.
Don't know.
But it's never come up. I've watched a lot of documentaries on Scientology because they're fun, and it's never come up. So I don't recall it ever coming up. So I would assume they drink.
Okay.
I mostly watch pro Scientology videos because I'm a contrarian.
Fair enough.
No, I same thing. I just love watching the people who've exited Scientology and the stories that they can tell about what they went through. And yeah, it's
You'd
a cult.
think this would be a yes or no question. All I'm finding is
That means they do drink.
Pages and pages
Yeah,
of.
if it was a they don't drink, you would find it right away.
You ever
Yeah,
watch
it's a tenant.
Louis Theroux? He's a
this.
British documentarian. He's really good.
Okay.
He makes great stuff.
There is no general ban on alcohol, but they're not fans of you drinking if you're going to be audited or whatever they do.
Well, yeah. So if you and I were in Scientology, they'd kick us out like they'd kick us out of a
Wait,
bar.
you're not giving us all of your money? You have.
You got money to spend on
On booze?
nice drinks?
What are you doing? Yeah. So I guess it's
It's
not
not all that bad.
necessarily banned, but frowned upon by Scientologists. Let's get to what Brendan O'Day's doing here.
Heck yeah.
I got a couple.
Let's talk to you boys about Scientology.
Thanks for your tongue-in-cheek promo you wrote for us that nobody knew was tongue-in-cheek. I hope it was tongue-in-cheek.
Here's the best part. It's purely organic. It carries no agenda or anything. It's just what came to me. I just put that flashlight thing on my head because I was trying to get on my hat. I was trying to get a truck running in a room in a garage that had no lighting at all. So,
And you decided right then and there, I got to do a promo.
well, I just had this thing on my head and I was looking around with it and I was like, oh, this is, man, if I was a cat
is gold.
burglar,
This is gold.
I really hate those things, and I don't like the weight of it and everything. And it's like I'm coming with all the reasons why I don't like this thing. And then I looked around like, but if I was a cat burglar, wow, this would be the greatest invention ever. And because it frees up your hands to carry more stuff. So I just So it wasn't
That's
until
not the promo I was talking about.
no.
Oh, you're getting to that?
So when I clicked and sent it to you, I went back to my friend who helped me, who filmed it for me, and he just said, "Wow, this doesn't inform anything of the recent events of your life at all, does it?" I'm like, "Oh shit!" And I'd already sent it to you, so
Well, here's what you wrote. You said, "This is a terrible podcast that I'll no doubt make worse. Complete idiots with zero commitment to," that's what I was saying, "to their opinions." I'm like, what? What the fuck is he talking
No.
I like your
Go
table
ahead,
there. You
finish-
got the power
keep-
drill, the
keep
frosted
going.
flakes, and a teapot.
My kind
I
of
thought we
post.
were friends, man.
I hope I can bring it to a new low. Give it a listen Saturday after I've embarrassed myself. Bam, I'm on a roll.
You can't
So-
buy advertising like that.
No, okay, right. So this is I
Yes.
continually write like that in all forms of social media, in Reddit, in everything else in that fashion because I am on, though somewhat covert, an unending campaign for a sarcasm font. I want there to be some indicator. I want them to at least, if they would just give me italics, if they would just give me a Control-I key
Maybe go the other way.
something.
You know how awesome that would be? Because how many times have people written in a sarcastic text message and then someone took it the wrong way?
Wrong way every damn time.
Took it literally.
And
So I
Reddit,
spent $100 to boost that.
Reddit solution is the /s at the end of whatever it is you put.
You should open with that.
You should open with that. Exactly right. It's like, what's the point? It should be s/.
I'm a busy man. I don't finish sentences.
Right. Well,
Once I
and
get
if you
offended.
do, well, that's the problem. You read the thing, the offense comes, and it's like, oh, he was being a dick. Okay, I get it. So, No, so that's all terms of affection
know,
and
that was
endearment.
great.
I love you guys.
You can
And
always do
You should
that
surround
little,
it in the /S.
What is it? That little star that you can put, and then
Yeah.
it has sarcasm, and then another star, and
Yeah.
then write your.
but isn't star supposed to be
preface it.
action, like winking or shaking, whatever?
I
But anyway,
guess, maybe.
regardless,
Stage direction.
regardless,
Sarcasm.
no matter what I say about anyone, I always
Rip 'em.
denigrate myself more.
Okay.
So I'm the one who makes it worse, even though I've called out all the other things that aren't true in any fashion at all. What I really mean is you're totally committed to your opinions.
They're
You
wrong, but you committed.
I will eat
it's
a hand. I will
it's-
eat Mark's
It is
hand
a
when he dies.
yes. It is a free for all podcast. The thing I'm probably most impressed with this podcast is that you still have advertisers. It's one thing to go out and say to somebody, "Would you like to promote? We'd like to promote you on our podcast. Would you like to support our podcast?" And they say yes. It's after they've heard the podcast that they continue to support you because they take a risk. So I got into a discussion with another. It all stemmed from something that happened at the Libertarian thing. But as I was driving down today, I was talking to another comedian about stuff, and in that little thing that the Anna Faris is uninformed podcast
Unqualified.
came up in discussion, and I find her to be ridiculously funny. She is, and she's just so good at just throwing in little things underneath the general tenor of discussion that's going on, and she's very funny. She's very brilliant, and but she has high-end advertisers. They just got a new advertiser in Select Comfort. So everybody on the staff is getting a Select Comfort 360 bed, and this is a $7,000 bed. They're all getting free beds out of the deal. And she immediately
Tom, get on it.
And she immediately says, "I can't fucking sleep a minute a night until I got on this fucking bed." And it's like, God damn, that is so great. Way to just, you're going to be who you are. You guys are who you are. You are who you are. And I love it because and I love the fact that Coldwell Banker Realty still supports the podcast and because this is the way people talk today and it's the way you talk. More importantly, it's the way you talk when you're not on the air, and you should be authentic and you should be who you are. And thank you, Coldwell Banker Realty International Division, whatever the guy said in that stupid promo. Congratulations on having the temerity to support free expression, because that's really where we're headed, and we better keep heading that way. Whether we prosecute Julian Assange or not, I don't know. Anyway, so do you have like a sounder for anti-political stuff? Just don't. There you go. Very nice. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So this summer, you are venturing off on your own. You are.
Well, I mean, I can't do anything on my own.
I thought you said
it's a group effort.
We were on the phone. You were talking that you are going to go look. Am I headlining or?
Yeah. So you're talking about our private phone calls?
No.
It is authentic, and we are.
You're like
so
getting
sexy.
Yeah,
call.
no. So
on the road and like feeling it out.
So
right?
there's different. I have a really obviously a unique opportunity now. The Hobbit Trail of Misguided Comedy Tour is over. It ends on Labor Day weekend of this year. For a number of reasons, but most importantly is this now. I've done a lot of shows in the last 7 years, and I'm at a level now where I probably should have been headlining sooner. I feel I'd reached that level of proficiency and the volume of material necessary to do that. So now I have that very unique opportunity to be able to do that. The way our shows were set up, I did the opening, the hosting duties basically, plus the feature spot, which equated to a certain amount of time. And then my former road partner would close out the show. He's got a bit more experience at closing shows than I do. So it was a good format. And I had specifically become a fairly proficient host through various decisions in training. A lot of comedians today come to comedy going, "I'm ready to be a headliner because I wrote in a notebook last week and now I'm ready. I went to my first open mic." My favorite was, this is what I hate about Facebook. Somebody sent me a friend request because she was a new comedian, and I'm a comedian now, and I'm really looking forward to doing my first open mic next month. And her occupation was listed as comedian.
All in. No going back.
I did not put stand-up as my occupation until more than half of my income came from stand-up comedy. I'd been a stand-up for 7 years before I even put stand-up comedy in my bio because I didn't feel I was a legitimate stand-up until somebody was paying me regularly to the point of where I wouldn't go do comedy unless somebody was paying. Because you get a lot of requests to be on showcases that don't even cover your gas or drive to Illinois for $25 or whatever. And I just got to a point where I said, I'm done if I don't get $250, I'm not leaving the house. And even that's 20 minutes because if you look at what it took to build 20 minutes of material that works everywhere, that's hundreds of hours. It's like, it's got to be worth something. That's more time than I paid attention to on any subject in college, for Christ's sake. I mean, come on. If we're going to legitimize this, let's legitimize it. So yeah, I have a bunch of different opportunities. I can continue in my role, host and feature, and work with headliners I've always wanted to work with that because of our arrangement, I didn't have the opportunity to. I can pick up younger comics that I've met in different parts of the country and have them open shows, and I can headline shows. So I have a very interesting and wide palette ahead of me. To finish up some last Hobbit Trail shows, I've partnered with a couple of comedians in different parts of the country that will finish out those shows in, I think, as good or better format, bringing kind of a fresher air to the tour. And then we've got the funny thing about this is it's taken me more back to my roots as a show promoter. So I've already talked with other comics about doing an all-female tour, a younger comics tour. And so it's really brought me back to the more business side of the whole thing. Which I didn't want to necessarily have to be thinking about it 7 years in.
So
but I'm so excited to think
tour,
about it.
would you just drive the bus?
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, seriously. Because
I turned the shower water for.
I don't. Yeah, I'm a hands-on guy. I'm just very hands-on.
Tour.
I'm very hands-on. No, I wouldn't because I like veracity in marketing.
Like females.
But I also don't expect. There's very few comedians that, as evidenced by what we accomplished and what we did, when people from TV come to your town and go, "Oh, you're those guys! I see your stuff everywhere." People were blown away by what we did, but most importantly, what I did is I packed an entire comedy club into a van. Mm-hmm. It wasn't some of these guys buy these $150,
guitar amps.
Not even like it's those little mini PA systems that have an 8-inch driver and you basically mount them on bar stools and they call that a comedy show with some crappy Radio Shack old realistic corded microphone. We brought a full competent professional setup to every show where we could play any number up to 600 people with the amps and the power control that we had. We could do anything.
Did you have a smoke machine?
Did not do a smoke machine.
I suppose you got
I have a
somewhere to
smoke
go.
machine because I did one show that required a smoke machine. So I have a smoke machine. But just having your own lights for a show, you'd be amazed at how many people go into my corporate setting last night. I asked the resort, so where's my lighting set up? Don't you have any? I had to have the room lights at full light because otherwise 50% of your comedy expression, you do a lot with your eyes and with your mouth that they have to see that. And if you don't see that, you don't get the full experience of comedy. So
that's got to be hard to do when all the lights are on and it's not just like focus on you though.
Well, now it's up to how good's your material? Are they focused? Are they paying attention?
It to the test.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
The lights
right.
are on.
Sure. So yeah, you do when you perform. This is the weirdest thing about what we did. When you perform in a comedy club, everything is set up for the advantage of the comedian. Mm-hmm. It's a low ceiling. It's dark walls. It's bright lights. It's a perfect sound system. You go into the Rolling Rock Tavern in Dickinson, North Dakota, where they don't want to see you. They're just trying to get a meal before the bus shows up. It's just they're just waiting and they're stuck there. So you try to focus their attention on you, you now have to try and recreate that comedy club experience in a room that has no advantage set up for you. The dart machine's going over here. You know, their favorite team is in the playoffs and there's 22 TVs in the place, and suddenly you start turning those off. It's a riot situation that you've just created. Screw you out! You know, you're getting yelled at by people. Whatever. It's the third inning, you piece of shit. And so you become, I feel, a better comedian working when nothing's set up to your advantage. And that's why I think I learned more than a lot of comedians who've been doing this for a very long time even know today, because they just haven't put themselves in the situation to where they have to learn how to deal with those situations. Yeah. So
it's like lifting weights. You do it because it is hard and it makes you better.
So
you do the easy stuff, you're never going to get better.
Right. But so if I hire comedians for a show, I don't feel like I should put it on them to bring a sound system, know how to set it up, know how to balance sound in a room, and know what a sound check means and then how a lighting check works as it differentiates from a sound check. I don't feel most people even want to be proficient in any of those things. I just happen to be, because I was the director of a tour that required that. So I gained those skills from that process. And so I wouldn't just hire people and say, oh, and by the way, you've got to set up you've got to bring your own sound system, because now that's out of my control. And that means I can't guarantee the quality of the show. And since I'm the guy booking, promoting the show, I have to be that guy that guarantees the quality of the show. So that means going there and watching four ladies do comedy again. I'm just kidding.
So tell us about stand-up guys that you're starting.
Stand-up guys.
No gals, huh?
We're all guys. I called Anna Faris a dude when referring to her. So
I
use guys to mean both.
Yeah, people are just dudes and guys, man. Our
advertisement with Jenny doing it. You said that dude or that.
Yeah, whoever that dude was.
I say hi guys, and it's a pack of girls.
Yeah, I'd like to desexualize everything. I mean, I don't see a big reason to have that be a. It's the same thing with so that's how this whole thing started. Was a woman at the Libertarian Convention said, we need more women comedians, and then she digressed to say, we need more women in everything.
Sure.
Said, maybe my hotel room, but I can't agree with you on anything else.
But let's start with the bar.
But it's there's only 6 women here tonight, so yeah, let's agree with that. But I don't think we need more women in comedy. I think we need funny people in comedy.
I think
we
you should have
more funny people in comedy.
If you want to get women interested in becoming comedians, that's where you should start.
Well, no, I think comedy is an organic thing. You're funny or you're not, and you find out if you have an audience for it, for what you deem funny, and it's a pretty democratic and ruthless process, and I like that. So I don't think we need more women comics. I think we need more funny people in comedy, and because of the
bigger the pool of comedians you have from which the talent to rise out of, even if it's more men, more women, doesn't matter. You will get more women rise to the top if there's more women in the pool to start with.
Well, of course,
that's my point.
Of course,
you don't want to elevate the women just because they're women. You want to elevate them because they're good and they deserve it.
Yeah. Well, the challenge I have with that is, I don't know if that's too far afield and too political. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that little moment of discussion reminded me of the Anna Faris podcast, and that's what I listened to on the way down, because she's just a very funny person. I mean, there's the only movie I've walked out of in the first 20 minutes, probably in my entire life, was 3 Days to Kill with Kevin Costner.
Okay.
It was every ridiculous trope of a movie. He's getting called back in for one last job. Oh, he's going to die in 3 days. He's got an estranged daughter that he wants to reconnect with as he's dying. It's just all these stupid things. And I just got up and left, and I hated it. Costner seems to be a guy that in the hands of a really good director, he's a great actor. But if he doesn't have a great director kind of steering the ship, it could go really bad. What I take away from this Anna Faris podcast, now that I've listened to it several times and several other interviews, just for whatever reason, she's a person who I initially thought was funny. She seems to be a genuinely funny person who also is a pretty good comedic actor. And it doesn't matter the project. Even if the movie sucks, she's still good. And I like that whole thing. So stand-up guys, was created because I had already started down the path of starting new shows, shows that differentiated from the Hobbit Trail, which was the obvious focus for the last 7 years. So Stand Up Guys is the company that provides shows under the Stand Up for Vets banner, which is to the benefit of an organization out of Phoenix, Arizona, called Wings for Warriors. And they're a great organization, and I could do a whole podcast on who they are. They're just amazing. And so that's what Stand Up Guys was created for. I've now decided to expand the Stand Up Guys banner to include my own touring, the all-women touring, the college crowd touring, and then the Stand Up for Vets show. So it'll really be a four-pronged approach, all encapsulated under the Stand Up Guys banner. So because we're just a bunch of stand-up guys. Because now we are.
All right.
Jesus.
Oh my!
I fat-fingered the rim shot there.
Wow. That was inappropriate, Tom.
Sometimes it just works out.
When I get excited about what I'm talking about, I do think about touching me, touching you. Yeah.
So how are you going to incorporate this? You said the college crowd comedy tour. That seems like it's going to be very difficult.
It's very difficult, but it's not. Because there's a very my whole approach to everything in comedy, in business, is always finding underserved markets and bringing stuff to them. That's what I've built my entire professional life on for the last 35 years. So colleges normally acquire entertainment through an organization called NACA. And you as a performer have to have a specialized agent to get into NACA. And you have an agent that gets you into NACA. You go to either NACA or NACA West. You do a series of performances there where people come see you, these representatives from these big colleges, and they decide on your performance there, based on your performance there, they decide whether they book you or not. So you have your regular agent manager type, and then you also have your NACA agent type. But the colleges that go there, that are represented there, are like things like University of Wisconsin, and then University of Wisconsin System Schools. But Ripon College doesn't send someone there because the cost to send your student activities coordinator, who at a college the size of Ripon College, is, and you're welcome for all of my business secrets, everyone. Yeah. For all my analysis and assessment that I have spent thousands of hours and years working on. You're getting it for free right now. Thanks, Tom.
You can just close your mouth.
True that. So the idea is there's a whole bunch of colleges out there that are so small that they don't go to NACA. They don't have the resources to do that. So again, someone approaches them.
So you just pull up in your van.
No.
Beep. Comedy's here, guys.
There's a phone call that precedes that. I mean, I'm down the street at the gas station at least. You know, I don't want to be creepy showing up at college somewhere. Yeah. So
the van.
It's a thing that I just in process of all of the booking that was done for the Hobbit Trail, we would run across these little universities scattered about, and I would inquire of someone, who's your student activities coordinator? Our what? That's my favorite answer, because that means there's nobody in charge of that. That means nobody's really even thinking about it.
Just walk into the gym and start talking.
Well, if you can plant the seed and talk to somebody who maybe has access to some budget, that's really what you're after. And it's like, well, wouldn't you like to do something for the students that are paying you thousands of dollars? Don't you do events for them? Well, occasionally, but that's Clarice in the dean's office. And there you go. Put me on with Clarice, and suddenly you're talking. And quite frankly, most college students don't want to hear from a 50-year-old guy with more white hair than their dad. So I'm not the person for that. But because I know a number of great younger comedians in the Chicago and Madison and Milwaukee markets, I want to be able to offer those guys up to get them more road experience, because again, that college environment that's not their immediate peer group, that's where I think a lot of these young open mic guys, they have some trouble having their message translate because they're so isolated and they're only talking in an echo chamber to people who think just like them.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you get better as a comedian is we used to have a segment of a run where we went from a literal Harley bar where Harley Davidsons were mounted on the walls to the largest political bar in the state of North Dakota, to an oil field bar with guys who hadn't seen a woman in 6 months. Those were 3 shows in a row. If you can't handle those 3 audiences, you're probably not a comedian yet. You've got to be able to handle whatever audience is thrown at you. And the way you do that is you go to Williston College out in Williston, North Dakota, which is an independent private college that doesn't have a representative that goes to NACA. And you go to that school and you go tell jokes and you send 4 guys out there to do, 2 10s, a 20 and a 40. And you put on a great show and the kids can't believe that comedians from the big city of Milwaukee came all the way out to Williston. Holy shit, what are you doing here? And it's a great time. And they get to see something. And yeah, I'll probably, these are young tech savvy people. I'll probably teach them how to set up a sound system so I don't have to randomly drive to Williston, North Dakota to do one show. But yeah, that's the kind of, that's another, I look at it as another tool in the toolbox for stand-up guys.
Yeah. Untapped opportunities.
Untapped opportunities of underserved markets. That's all I've ever tried to identify and bring to the table in anything I've ever done. So that's what we are. That's why we are.
That's what's happening next for Brendan O'Day?
That's what's happening next. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, Brendan. Well, all right. Well, thank you for that. Now I'm afraid to ask you any more questions because you blame me for giving away your trade secrets.
Yeah, no. Sorry, Tom.
William
Sorry,
Krolowitz says hi.
Oh,
hey,
Will
William.
Krolowitz.
That's what you and him should go out and do a college tour.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Your dad's comedy tour.
That'd be awesome.
William Krolowitz has some great family material that none of these children. You drink? Oh my God. Yeah. Anybody that can do a joke about getting drunk with their kids is A-okay in my book. I love it.
Awesome. All right, let's wrap it up here. Their Nepalese team cleaned 3 tons of waste off of Mount Everest. There is another 30 tons that remain on the mountain.
There's a lot of dead bodies up there, too.
Yeah, they're taking those down, too.
But isn't there some restriction? Aren't they saying there's no new ascents on the peak until they clean a certain amount?
I think they cleaned that amount, but now the average climber leaves 17 pounds.
Yeah, isn't there some new thing where they have to bring at
most
least
of it back.
51 pounds back with them, like 3 times more than they would normally leave?
Yeah.
So they're plus 200% more. Yeah, I heard some restriction that the Nepalese are really getting pretty.
It's really cold up there. How do you drop trow on top of Mount Everest?
I think you.
I assume diapers or something.
I think you pretend you're in San Francisco in an underpass, and you just
And it just flows,
and
man.
you just let her go. Yeah. Let it flow, let it flow. That's Foghat and Jim Carrey. So,
All right, this one, I want to know what Elon Musk is poaching comedy staff from The Onion,
Okay.
and nobody knows why. Do you have any idea why?
Elon Musk is very unpredictable.
He's hiring Onion staff. We don't know why.
One day he's shooting rockets.
taking-
Next day he's smoking pot.
so did you see the most recent quarter discussion on the state of Tesla automobiles?
I thought it was not good.
I've heard about it. Yeah.
Well, no, I don't mean the investor, the forecasting firm's predictions. I mean what the presentation by Tesla about where they're headed. They really spent a lot of time discussing the future of automobiles as it relates to Tesla and the overall economy of the United States and personal economies of people who buy Teslas. So I believe if there's any connection between Tesla automobiles and the Onion, there's going to be a lot of Tesla provided infotainment in Tesla vehicles.
Oh, okay.
They are literally talking by 2022 of having cars with no steering wheels or pedals. They will be 100% fully autonomous by 2022. That's how fast this is coming. And this is what everybody else is, all the other manufacturers after autonomous vehicles is using LiDAR, the laser basically driven systems. And it's a ridiculous fool's paradise. You can't do it with LiDAR. It's too easily defeated by
glares.
by weather. Yeah, glare, sunlight, and fog. They are the 2 things. I don't know. Those are two fairly prevalent things in the world of transportation. So, but I think it's to pull people away who can write and provide infotainment for that system is the only thing I could think. I only heard that much of this.
That's all they have for the whole story is they're just wondering, why are you hiring writers from The Onion?
So if you have a car that doesn't need a wheel or pedals, you don't really need 2 bench seats. You can do like a round pit couch kind of thing or something.
Yes, you can.
Are they trying to do their own kind of like a Netflix, like within their vehicles, like for entertainment? Maybe?
Could be.
Yeah, I think it's going to be so self-contained.
But you'll never want to leave your car.
So the idea is you can't buy a Model 3 anymore. You could buy Model 3s until this year. Now you can only lease Model 3s. And the battery system that they're introducing in late 2019, early 2020 is designed for 1 million miles. They're saying their battery pack will last 1 million miles before it needs replacement. The Generation 3. Yeah. Whereas Toyota set the standard with the Prius where they 30. Said... Well, they said 150,000 miles, and they routinely go 300,000 miles. They completely underpromised and have completely over-delivered. But at 300,000 miles, those cells start dying, and they don't do too well. Musk already was at the 300,000 mile threshold at the outset, and now he's saying 1 million, but you'll lease your car. But for the vast majority of the population, you go somewhere to work in your car, and then your car sits there for 8 hours a day. What you will do with your leased Tesla is you will just take yourself out of ownership mode or demand mode, and your car will drive away and go pick somebody up who can go drive it. They're not calling it Uber mode.
Whatever.
Yes, but it's basically that because they are. So when you sign your lease, you agree that you will not use your car for Uber and Lyft. Because that would otherwise cut into their use because they're keeping a portion of that to pay for this whole growing concept, and as Uber and Lyft do, but they're saying that they will keep far less than Uber and Lyft do because they already have the infrastructure that Uber and Lyft don't have.
So do you get paid if your car goes and picks up other people while you're at work?
On average, $30,000 a year.
Wow.
You will make in 10 years over $300,000 of gross revenue on your Tesla.
And when you get back in your car, you're going to sit in condoms and whatever your car was doing while you were working.
And if you take pictures of that and report it, that person who did that will be billed. And there are cameras in the car to catch anybody doing anything untoward. So you are covered on both ends. But you will no longer drive a car as a basic means of transportation or an exclusive means of transportation. It will become a revenue source in your life. And this is, and wow, it is so mind-blowing what they're doing and the way they're gathering data and crowdsourcing data for the expansion of this that requires no LiDAR, it's cameras, but they have the 360-degree cameras now, and they just got regulatory approval for their near orbit satellite network. So this is not the United States. This is literally going to be worldwide, all the while with free internet for everyone at this low elevation orbit. This guy is our Einstein. Anytime anybody gets it, some trusted advisor, well, I don't know what Mr. Musk is doing here. I don't think we can. He just comes up with the next thing that blows everybody's mind and does it to a degree that nobody ever thought he could do. So I've decided I've sold out on the whole Elon Musk thing. I think he's a genius. I don't think he's an evil genius. I think he's a profiteer. So I have no problem in him being a capitalist, but the rate at which he's bringing everything to everyone, I don't know what that is either.
Oh, that's we're making ice.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel like this is an amazing thing, and I think that's what those Onion reporters are doing. Is there probably Onion writers are probably going to be writing infotainment for the car stuff.
All right.
Yeah. That, or they're going to try to make the boring company not so boring.
As if battery-powered sports
I'm
cars
show
wasn't
myself
exciting
out.
enough.
I'm going to show myself out. It was really bad.
All right. Well, let's wrap this one up. Brendan, you want to stick around for a little bit? You still got time?
I got time.
Awesome. All right, Mark.
All right, we are Off the Rails with Tom and Mark, and you can find us all over the internet. Off the Rails TM is the key phrase. Our website, offtherailstm.com. Email us if you want to be on the show or you just want to chat. Maybe you have a fun article you want to send us in. We'll read it on the show. offtherailstm@gmail.com. We haven't gotten a question in a long time, but I want to keep doing Ask Tom Anything 414@gmail.com. Keep sending in those questions.
I'll make a post and get some questions coming in.
Because that was a fun bit. I want to do it again. So
Yeah.
this podcast is available on SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, tons of places. So go check it out. Our website has more information.
Yep. Check out our Patreon. Stand Up Guys is going to be running live soon. We'll get some social media.
Sure. StandUpGuysLLC.com, and there'll be a Stand Up Guys page on Facebook that is made but hasn't gone live yet.
Yep.
But
Send us that information. We'll put it up as soon as you get it. We'll share it on our page.
sounds great.
Thanks a lot, Brendan O'Day. Let's try this one.
Thanks for tuning in, universe. Rails.